Hello there. Today I watched Warner Brothers' new animated sci-fi film, Babylon 5: The Road Home, and now I want to tell you about it. It is a follow-up to the hit series and follows the former commander of Babylon 5, John Sheridan. Now the president of the Intergalactic Alliance, he's set to move to Minbari with his wife Dellen. As president, he goes to his first ribbon cutting, but the new technology they used causes problems in the space-time continuum. John soon finds himself stuck randomly teleporting across time and between realities while he tries to find his way home. The film was written by J. Michael Straczynski, who wrote the original series, and was directed by Matt Peters. It's an animated film, but many of the original actors return to voice their characters. There's Bruce Boxleitner as John Sheridan, Claudia Christian as Ivanova, Peter Jurasik as Londo, Tracy Scoggins as Lockley, Bill Mumy as Lanier, and Patricia Tallman as Lyta. They're also joined by several veteran voice actors who do a great job filling in for the missing cast members. The story is a time mix-up in which they send John on an unexplainable journey through the universe. He meets with important people from his life and speaks with them about his inability to stay in one place, and they attempt to help him with what they know. He jumps around through the different timelines at first, but then starts jumping between realities. Each new location is crazier than the last, and by the end, he's dealing with a problem that doesn't just affect him, but the entire universe. The story is full of excitement, the audience is left with a sappy message at the end, and there are a lot of nostalgic references for fans of the series. There are some problems with the writing, though. For example, the film references an event from Babylon 5, but doesn't do a good job of explaining the concepts involved and what happened. And the dialogue explaining the scenario in this film felt bogged down and wordy. Essentially, the story boils down to him jumping around randomly and him trying to find a way to control it so he can get back home. We're given a half-baked explanation about how it works and why it's happening, but the explanations are fantastical and vague. I left the film confused about why he was jumping around and how those locations and times were chosen, and also couldn't help but wonder about the Zathras problem. Zathras' presence in the story breaks everything. His character has always been an unexplainable quandary, but in this, he breaks every rule and comes in with a magic save at the end. It's more than a little deus ex machina and left me with more questions than answers. If he could just show up the whole time and explain things, why didn't he? That said, while I didn't understand what was going on, they did a good job of building the different atmospheres and filling them with exciting events. They didn't do much character development, but they did visit a lot of familiar faces and run through some crazy scenarios. The voice acting was solid across the board, but didn't make a huge impression on me in terms of standout performances. Throughout the film, we spend most of our time with Bruce Boxleitner playing a much older version of John Sheridan. He's a bit of a joker and does well with the comedic lines. He also goes through some emotional moments, but he faces most of them with extreme stoicism, as do most of the other cast members. There are lots of good action hero speeches and tech jargon monologues, but they're not that interesting from a performance perspective. If the actors had been given more to do, they likely would have stood out more. Visually, the film is done in a basic Western animation style that does a decent job of facial expressions and looks a little more realistic than most anime. It still looks like a cartoon, they just don't go for overly exaggerated features and motions. The journey is easy to follow and gets progressively more exciting as we go. It has a few standout moments, but it does take quite a while to get to them, and there aren't that many. The two scenes that stick out in my mind are the end of the Earth that occurs in one scenario and an attack on Babylon 5 by the Shadows. Both scenes are big moments in the film and lead to a lot of action and scenery. They're also both halfway through the film or more. Prior to that, the film is mostly scenes of different conversations. As cool as any of the scenarios are, they're all made less impactful by the story. As John is jumping around universes, it becomes increasingly hard to invest in each one knowing that he's going to jump away soon. So the journey ends up becoming cool visual fodder and not having the impact it should have. Sound-wise, the film does an excellent job. The music they used is scored instrumentals that follow the story precisely and mold to the emotions. They tend to be a bit fantasy epic in nature, though we do hear a good mixture of different instruments and sounds throughout the film. It's never too loud unless they're intentionally blocking out a character's speech, and it does a fantastic job of bringing out the emotions the film wants you to feel. In fact, it ends up doing most of the emotional heavy lifting. The music turns each moment into an exciting and thrilling experience and stands out in a few different scenes. My favorite was the song that played during the climax. It runs through a huge range of emotions and changes from a soft and gentle song into a dark and mysterious tune before becoming an inspirational challenge to the characters. Overall, Babylon 5: The Road Home was a strange but exciting adventure into the cosmos. It has a lot of nostalgic references for fans of the series and a decent message for new audiences. It didn't do a great job of explaining what was going on, but the visual journey was solid. The soundtrack was amazing, and the cast is filled with returning actors from the series. If you're a fan of the show and want another taste of that universe, or if you're just a fan of exciting sci-fi tales, give this one a try. It's fairly entertaining even if it isn't trying anything new. As for a rating, I give this one a 6 out of 10, and remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye bye.